What is up, everybody? It is Thursday night, and Thursday night means we are back. Jackson Kayak Dock Talk. We have got a new championship edition, Jackson Kayak USA Bassin Classic. This is our panel tonight. Let's kick things off. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Thursday night edition of Jackson Kayak Dock Talk. And like I said, we've got a great new panel for you tonight. Some new faces, some faces you guys have not seen before. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But we've got some newbies in the house tonight. I don't know how noob they are. They're seasoned veterans at this point. They got some checks in their pockets this over the weekend. Um, let's adjust this thing here. Boom. We're gonna start off with number one in our tournament, number one in your hearts, Mr. Hank Newson. Introduce yourself. Tell people where you're from. Tell people why you're fishing out of, man.
I'm Hank Newson. I live in Burnsville, North Carolina, which is about 40 minutes east of Asheville. A lot of reservoir fishing here. Super new to the kayak game, that's for sure. It's my first year fishing in a kayak. Qualified in the Eastern Tennessee and Western North Carolina divisions for the Classic. Grew up in Erie, Pennsylvania, so grew up fishing in some way different water than it is down here, and certainly different water than it was in Kentucky. But just excited to be a part of it, and still can't believe that I was lucky enough to win.
Chad, are you muted?
Chad might be muted. I can't hear anything.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Hey, tell everybody where you're from and all that fun stuff, man. What you fishing out of this year?
No, all right. I'm Marcas Grubbs. I'm from New Albany, Indiana. Or I'm not from there, but I live there now, just right across the river from Louisville. I fished out of a Old Town topwater this year. First pedal drive. Yeah, helped out a whole lot. Man, it really changed the way I fished. I didn't have to fish right by the ramp all the time. I got to kind of move around a lot more and fish in the wind and carry a lot more fishing rods too.
There you go. There you go. Moving on down the line, we got third place in the house, Mr. Sam Beck. Give us a little intro. Tell us where you're from. Tell us what you're fishing out of.
All right. I'm Sam Beck. I'm from a place just east of Knoxville, Tennessee called Corrington, Tennessee. And I fish out of a Jackson Big Rig FD. Have for several years. I just love it. I got into fishing because I love fishing rivers, and the Jackson drive system is great on rivers. It's better than anything else. The speed at which you can deploy it and raise it up and down is just made it the kayak for me, and it's great on big lakes too.
Yeah, I like it, man. I like it. So, kind of running around the room here. I'm gonna switch us all around. There we go. Kentucky, like a couple of you fished there before. Let's kind of walk through the event, practice. What was you guys seeing, and how was you kind of determining? How many days did you spend, and how did you determine that you were kind of in the right area? What were you finding out there? Whoever wants to go first can have at her.
All right. Well, I got to the tournament, I guess, Wednesday night, and got there late. It was dark when I got there, and got up, Thursday, and did a lot of just driving and looking. I mean, I looked at and broke down the map, the lake on the Google Earth before I got there, so I kind of knew where I was going to go just based on the map. And then I drove around, looked at several places, and ended up fishing where I thought I was going to from the beginning, and which was up at the area near the dam marina. And it had some good looking structure, and I just went up, pre-fished the afternoon basically, and got what I felt like was a spot that I could get a bite or two, and just kind of built from there.
Mm-hmm. Cool. What about you, Marcus?
I got down there Tuesday and put in first thing in the morning at one of the big creeks. I was kind of focused in on the creek areas. Fished around and caught some fish, but really wasn't on anything. There's all kinds of bait, but there weren't a whole lot of bass back there. So I went to my campground and set everything up, and there's a little marina right there, and I put in for a few hours there, and I got on some fish. So that's ended up where I fished for the tournament both days. Right, about 3.5 minutes from my campground.
Can be that. It makes the day easy.
No, it was really easy.
How about you, Hank? How much time did you put into practice and all that fun?
Well, I didn't get up there until Wednesday night. I don't know, about 1:30 in the morning. I'm a high school PE teacher, so I couldn't take too many days off to get up there and practice. Kind of looking at the maps before I went, I kind of knew where I wanted to go, and didn't actually pre-fish there. Went with Stephen Kidd, whose kayak I was actually borrowing his NAR because I didn't own one, and borrowed his, and we went back way back in the creek, and I really didn't like it back in there. I knew where I wanted to fish, just again from looking at maps, and got to a different spot than where I caught the fish. I went back into a marina and fished that for a little bit and caught a couple small ones, but I figured it was going to be current driven, and I knew I was going to have to get out in the wind. And once I did that on the first day, I found a fish.
Right. And talking about the wind, I mean, we've really seen a big time weather shift all the way through this whole event. How did that affect your guys' spots, or did it affect them at all? Did it make them better?
I made it better for me. Every time the wind would pick up, I'd start getting bit, and when it died, so did the bite.
Yeah,
Not me. My bite day one, I was totally different than day two. Day one, I was catching some, in 2 or 3 feet of water on rock, and then day two, I was catching them dirt shallow on mud. So it just took a little figuring out both days to figure it out. I didn't, day two especially, didn't start catching them till a little bit later in the day.
Right.
Yeah,
the evening bite was awesome every time I went there.
Yeah, same with me. And I actually caught them in the morning, especially day two, because it was super windy.
Morning was awesome, day two.
Yeah, and it was like it couldn't have fed where I was fishing any better, and I knew that spot was going to hold fish. And like Marcus said, as soon as that wind died or even slowed down a little bit, that bite died immediately.
Yeah, I don't know what they did or where they went, because they couldn't have gone too far.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. They just turned off, and there'd be hour and a half without getting a hit. Then all of a sudden, it'd kick back up, and there they go.
Yeah, it was awesome. That made me really like Kentucky Lake.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that was pretty reminiscent of the leaderboard. Like Friday morning, we're sitting there, not much is happening. Friday morning, we start seeing, that first trickle of fish come in, and Jason's talking. I didn't score any fish, but he sure did. And he said, "Oh man, I hope these guys are we got to catch some fish out here." And then all of a sudden, man, that wind kind of picked up around 11:30 to noon, if that sounds right. And it was like that leaderboard just caught on fire all at one time. I don't know if they was, the wind picked up or they was pulling water maybe a little bit more, but something there just kicked in at noon, and those fish just went nuts. And it was the same thing, really. Talk about Thursday morning, we get up and we're kind of watching the leaderboard. Now, I mean, it it just went off. Like right there in the morning, you guys were just on them right there out of the gate. And, it seemed like it was going to be a heck of a day. And then it did get kind of slowed down and picked back up again at the end of the day, it seemed like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it was
mean,
the
so
first cast. I got a keeper first cast Saturday morning.
and
I
that's when
hate
you
that.
said,
That first cast fish always makes me nervous.
Me
I
too.
didn't, I didn't mind it too much.
I bet.
not in the moment.
No, not at
But
all.
I had a
that,
bass boat sitting on my spot day 2, first thing.
Oof.
I actually went just across the channel to what looked like a similar spot, and it was holding fish too. So I got lucky because they were sitting there. We had lines in at 7. They were fishing at 6:30, and they caught 2 keepers right away. And I was like,
Ooh.
man, I thought I was in trouble.
yeah, that's easy to do. Did you guys get into any of the smallmouth while you were out there? I see there was actually quite a few smallmouth come through the leaderboard.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did. I caught them in one spot specifically. It seemed to be holding smallmouth, and I went down the bank a little bit to another area where I knew it was a little bit deeper, and it was holding smallmouth. And they were sitting in the wind. If you could get into the wind and make the right cast, you knew they were sitting there, and they were hitting.
Yeah, I don't know. I caught mostly largemouth the whole weekend. I might have had 2 smallmouth. It was just picked them up kind of randomly. No real rhyme and reason to why there was smallmouth versus largemouth. I don't know. I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, my spot was pretty mixed up. They had both around. A whole lot of white bass or striped bass or whatever.
Now, we do have a question coming in from the audience, Mr. Rudy Yarworth. He was actually one of our judges for the Classic, so thank you, Rudy, for that one. What was the go-to bait for you guys on Kentucky Lake that week?
Mine was KVD 1.5 chartreuse and black square bill. That's what I threw a white one in the morning, day 1, like a number 3 XD. It was a little bit deeper and caught a few fish on that. But when I switched it up, my water was pretty stained, so I threw that on there, and I threw that for a day and a half constantly.
Nice.
Yeah, I was rotating between a DT6 and a Fritzside 5, and caught a few on a Ned rig and a chatterbait as well.
I was alternating between good-looking spots. I would throw a Chapo, the full-size Chapo, and got a few of them would pick that up occasionally. But when I got to something that looked good, then I was throwing a plastic on an underspin, on a flashy swimmer.
Sounds like you guys were all really fairly close on the same pattern. Sam had the most different item with the El Chapo, but that's cool. And where you were fishing, Sam, I had a front row seat to that, so I got to see some of that bait pushing around there in the morning. And yeah, it really looked like fire back in there as far as some of those spots that I could see the Chapo working pretty well.
Yeah, it was just occasionally pick one up on it. Moving between what I felt like was, hey, this was a good looking area, and move to that spot over there where it was a good looking area. I'd throw the Chapo headed down the bank and pick them up occasionally there, but most of them came on the plastic.
Now, the sizes, as far as the limits that we've seen come in, you're pretty much 70 to 80 was pretty, I'm going to say 75 to 80 was pretty standard.
Yeah.
Throughout the tournament for a lot of guys, and it was close. How much do you feel like the areas you were fishing, do you feel like there was a big there to be caught, or do you feel like it was a very, I guess, a consistently sized school that you guys were sitting on?
I feel like there was a big fish there to be caught where I was. I just couldn't get on a pattern that had any big ones. I caught a 17 pre-fish day, and that was the biggest fish I caught all weekend.
Yeah, I think my spot was. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I think my spot was pretty loaded with 14, 15-inch fish, but there was that occasional 16, 17 running around. possibly could have been an 18 or 19, but I never saw it.
Yeah, same here. I'd get off that spot and let it reload and reload with the same fish, 15, 16 and a half. It wasn't, I mean, I'm sure there was a big one in there, but there was really consistent 15 to 16 and a half fish that just kept coming into that area.
Yeah.
Rudy's going to second that, where it was, pretty much in that genre 70 to 78. So, I mean, man, this thing was, even to the last minute, it was anybody's game. Chris Fallon could have ruined a lot of people's hopes and dreams, I'm afraid. If he didn't have that little board flop, he would have probably be sitting here with us tonight. But he did end up with big bass. So shout out to Chris for taking home big bass. So overall opinions, a lot of you guys knew. I mean, how do you feel about Kentucky Lake, where Kentucky Lake's at, from the things that you've heard online or maybe read? How do you feel about Kentucky Lake? What do you believe the health of it is based on what you've seen out on the water?
I mean, I've seen way more drum than carp, so they're way more fun to catch, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I think everybody caught good drum.
Yeah, it was fun, man. I had an awesome time, dude. I caught fish everywhere I went. I like the spots that I end up fishing the best, but I could have gone to 3 or 4 others and felt pretty comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that, with the amount of 14, 15-inch fish that we caught in a year or so, that lake's going to be really, really good. Get another little bit of age on those fish. It'll be nice.
A whole lot of smallmouth in there for sure.
Yeah, right. I agree. 100%.
And that's one of the things I've really heard a lot about Kentucky Lake as it's coming back is, they're really seeing a good crop of smallmouth. And some of the pictures that I've seen on the lake, man, are phenomenal. And it was cool to see that in person as they were coming through. I'd rather been out there catching them with you guys, but unfortunately that wasn't the case this weekend. So we've got a couple more. We've got Carter Smith from the audience. What kind of rods do you guys use? Like anything specific that you guys want to shout out?
Use everything.
I use kind of a mixture of everything. I mean, I guess I've got 3 St. Croix rods, a couple of Dobbins rods, but I've got kind of a mixture of everything.
Yeah, I buy the nicest ones I can for the cheapest price.
That's the truth. I threw that square bill on a Cast King BFS reel that I had just purchased, and it was amazing. And I run a lot of Duckett rods and a lot of Cashman rods.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Which BFS reel did you pick up from Cast King?
I don't even remember the number.
Kestrel?
Yes. Yeah,
that's
awesome.
a good one.
Yeah, it was
awesome.
awesome.
Is a very good one. So Rudy's back here. Let's see. Was anybody worried that someone was going to get into some 17-inch fish? Did you feel like when the leaderboard shut off? Did you feel like everybody was hot on your heels?
I didn't think I had a chance. I was just hoping to kind of get into that top 5 or 10. I didn't think I had a chance. I figured somebody crushed them.
Yeah, I told Hank. I mean, I looked at the leaderboard before I turned it off, and I must have looked at the numbers wrong or something. I thought I was like 4 inches down from him. So I was like, well, maybe I'll be in the top 10, maybe. Mm-hmm. And I was completely shocked that I ended up in 3rd. I just looked at the number wrong, I guess.
Yeah, I knew it was close when it turned off. I mean, I didn't check it. The service where I was at wasn't real good, and I didn't check it a ton, but I knew when I was in 1st when it turned off, and I figured like Fallon or any of these guys were right at my heel. And I didn't catch a fish until 2. I probably went from like 12:45 to 2, didn't catch a fish, and then caught one and figured I'd be close, but I figured somebody was smacking them like Marcas said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The last hour and a half, I put my little plastic that I'd been catching them on. I put it down and started power fishing. I was throwing mag draft and that Chapo, just running the banks, just praying for a big fish, because I knew, I was like, man, one big fish I might be able to get up into the money, but I didn't think I was there.
Yeah, I thought for sure if my spot was firing like it was, everybody else's was too. And I was real worried about Chris. I was real worried about Paul Averill. I thought they were for
Mhm.
sure just crushing them because they always do, you know. And then, man, it surprised the crap out of me. And my
I
spot
figured.
just went nuts, man. That
I
last
figured.
30 minutes I fished there, it was going crazy.
Yeah, I figured somebody was sandbagging too. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
I
I was
probably
worried about
was.
that too.
My I had service everywhere except where I was catching fish. So I had to go like 100 yards away just to submit fish. So while I was back there catching them, I couldn't do anything. I had to just
Yeah.
pedal toward the ramp to submit any. So it probably did look like I was sandbagging that first day and that second day. But I really only had 3 fish until like 2 something, and then
Mhm.
I probably caught 3 more limits while I was sitting back there, just fan casting everywhere I cast. Man, every other cast was a catch. You know, it went crazy.
Marcus, you did get on based on our conversation. You got on a little bit of flurry there at the last. I mean, run us through what was it, 227?
There was like 208 or 212 or something where I got my 5th fish, but I
Mhm.
culled the last fish at 252. I think was my last like time stamp on fish, but I was catching fish after that. I, they were biting when I left. There was white bass back there going crazy. There was smallmouth in one spot going crazy. There was largemouth in like 3 different. I power pulled down and just cast as far as I could each way. And there was one way that I swear I caught smallmouth only out of. Another way, as soon as it landed, a largemouth would be on it. And then another way, it was pretty small fish. So it was wild, man. They were just everywhere back there. There's 3 creeks coming in to the spot, so it kind of made some humps from the water being a little low, and those fish were just pushing bait on those humps, and they just wouldn't hit a topwater for some reason. But chatterbait was fun enough.
How do you guys feel like that water, the drawdown for the winter, helped you guys?
Helped my spot for sure. Made my spot really.
I don't know that it made a whole lot of difference where I was, but I never got into fish like what Marcus is saying. I was just grinding all day. I'd go an hour and catch maybe one, and then I'd go another hour and catch one, and then I'd go another hour and catch one. It was just a grind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just catch them in flurries. I mean, I'd like to fish that place at full pool and give you a real answer. But
Yeah, I never have.
yeah, I think it helped my spot because it made it a place where fish wanted to hold. You know, where because it was super shallow in some spots where I was at. So if I found a little bit deeper water off some humps, like Marcus said, they were holding fish and they were pushing bait, and there was white bass everywhere. I mean, they were smacking like it was like 6. You know, when we got put in at 6:30, and there were fish popping everywhere.
Yeah, it was wild. I knew it was going to be going off as soon as it started.
Yeah.
But then there's big lulls too, man. I didn't get bit for hours, and then that wind picked up again, I guess, and set it
No,
up.
and
I
it
think
was
those.
we had a good
Go ahead.
wind direction for that lake. Just the way
It
that
was.
lake lays, it kind of generated its own current in a way.
Yeah, that second day was. I liked it from the west a lot better than that south wind.
It was blowing
Those,
though. It was tough. It was
dude, it
blowing.
got crazy Friday. I'd never really been in anything like that.
Yeah.
But I swear, man, that pedal drive, just being able to not get pushed around so bad was nice.
Absolutely agree with that 100%. Going from a paddling kayak to a pedaling kayak is like going from a bicycle to a car. I mean, it's a huge jump.
I didn't think it'd be that much. That's crazy.
That's actually a very interesting point to bring up. You guys were all 3 human-powered angling out there. I mean, you guys were all using pedal drives instead of motors, correct?
I had a motor.
You did have a motor?
Yeah,
Okay,
but
cool.
I smoked it in like 5 hours because I was in the wind. So I was pedaling for the last, 3 hours.
The guys at Country Kids Outdoor Adventures want to know where your jersey's at tonight, Hank.
Well, I had to come into work, and I didn't have it with me. I thought I was headed home, but I got called into my part-time job in the fishing store at Sportsman's Warehouse. So I didn't have it with me. My fault, but check out KKOA and MT66 baits.
And same group of guys. Thanks for a great weekend. You guys are what made the weekend. We were just lucky to be there to get a watch and have fun. We would have loved to have been out on the water with you, to be honest with you. It was fun to get out and take some pictures, but I still wanted to fish. Probably wanted to fish worse. Congratulations, all you guys. Yep. Lost my train of thought. So as we kind of move into the second half of this whole deal, what do you guys got for each other? You guys want to grill each other on any fun topics? Anything that you guys want to ask Hank or Marcus, even Sam? I mean, let's get the skinny. Tournament's over. Spill the beans. Marcus is thinking about his thighs and how good they work during that whole.
Man, those things they sure were burning on Sunday.
Well, being fishermen, I'm trying to think of a question to ask everybody that they won't lie and give me a wrong answer to.
Well, that's perfectly acceptable.
I only lie by omission.
Yeah, there you go. But I mean, I don't know. I was trying to think of a question to ask Marcus. I mean, you ended up really high in the Tennessee Bass Nation Angler of the Year thing. I need to figure out a tip or two that you need to pass on to me.
Well, you just got to start fishing in Indiana. And if you can figure out how to catch, if you figure out how to catch fish in Indiana, you can go anywhere and catch them.
That's what they say about Tennessee, but
dude, man, Tennessee that's why I go there. It's because there's actually fish and schools and all that stuff.
Yeah,
come hang out with us for a weekend up here in Indiana. You'll be ready to head back to Tennessee real quick.
Yeah, if you can grind out a limit in some of these lakes, you're doing something.
It's tough. Yeah, I lost it. So talking about it's hard to catch two people, and we got random conversations, and you just lose it. Yeah, if you want to know Marcus's best trick, and Chris will probably echo this in the comments, Marcus fishes 1,000 miles an hour. A lot of people fish 100 miles an hour. Marcus fishes 100 miles an hour. If you ever get a chance to fish with Marcus, you'll make one cast to his 10. That's just how he flies.
I gotta keep that bait in the water.
He's always got a bait in the water. So if you want Marcus's tips and tricks, that's it. He's just he's gonna beat you with cast.
Yeah, I definitely arm about falls off after tournaments for sure.
Yeah, my fingers are still sore from cranking so much.
Yeah, my shoulders were rough all week. Yeah.
Yeah, those multi-day tournaments are kind of tough when you're just chunking and winding all for 2 or 3 days.
It's the funnest bite though, man. I love getting bit winding, whether it's a chatterbait or a crankbait, just something moving like that. Ooh.
I picked up a spin rod for like 2 minutes and said, nope, put it right back down, started cranking again.
Yeah.
I wasn't even messing with it. I threw net rig for a minute and that was it. I said, I got to crank.
Yeah, I had to clean him up with a Ned rig
with me.
Man,
there you go.
That's fun. No, I had to clean up some of those fish with a Ned rig, man. It wasn't as fun, but man,
it works.
It did, yeah. I pretty much. I don't know if you guys throw a Damiki rig ever.
I do.
I had one tied on in case I found some schools. And then I ended up just throwing it shallow. So that's what I caught a bunch of fish on, just a Damiki rig in a foot of water.
Really?
I mean, it's basically a Ned rig, just a round ball head,
Yeah. We got to throw those a lot here in the reservoirs because we're catching fish in deep water.
Yeah, they're fun. That's about the only thing I can drop on a school and feel confident in.
Yeah. What soft plastic you put on there? You use the Damiki?
No, I use the Yum, the FF sonar minnow or whatever.
I got you.
Yeah.
Not any of you guys using forward-facing sonar. Everybody's going to want to know. We got to ask. No forward-facing sonar. So see, you don't need it.
These days I will be, but not today.
I didn't even have a graph. I didn't even have a graph on my kayak. So
that's awesome.
That's even more. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is very awesome. So Jackson Kayak Classic overall, I mean, our field, we qualified 200, obviously big events. You've got number one, it's fall. Everything and anything that can happen with family time starts happening in October and runs its way all through December. Hunting season's also in full effect. Um, how did you, I mean, we did have smaller crowd, but how did you guys feel that smaller crowd made the camaraderie better at the end of the day?
A smaller crowd, you got to know a few people, see people at the ramp, you talk to them, and that was kind of nice, I guess.
Yeah, I thought everybody's great. I mean, I talked to a few people in practice. I stayed in the same house with Sam and Chris, and so got to pick their brain a little bit. And, it's the first time ever meeting Sam and really got along with all those people. I come from a bass boat background and where people won't even talk to you. They won't. And it was pretty amazing just being at Kentucky Outdoors and everybody just willing to talk to you, even before the tournament started. So that's one of the things that gravitate me to, kayak fishing.
Yeah.
I met.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I met a couple people that I'd seen on Facebook and stuff, and never really actually talked to in person, and I feel like we're friends now. And there was definitely, you could sit there and talk to everybody that was in the tournament at one time. Almost, you could just at the check-in or whatever, everybody was in the same room. You could actually walk up and talk to a group of 5 or 6 dudes, and almost meet everybody there. And that was cool.
Yeah,
you're gonna do that.
I thought that part was cool. No, I mean, you'll go around, but it's, you're going to see a few different groups, and it's going to be harder to remember the faces and the different things I think that go on. So it was kind of fun to have our inaugural and be such a close knit group of dudes. I think that went well, and lady, we had a lady out there, Miss Rachel Painter, the Never Give Up Award winner. But yeah, it was cool, man. I think just seeing everybody shaking hands and having fun and buying tackle. I mean, shoot, couldn't ask for a better tackle shop to host us. There was everything that we needed and probably a bunch of stuff we didn't at the tackle store. I know I walked out myself with an armful, and I wasn't even fishing the daggone tournament.
Yeah, dude. We need more tackle shops like that around.
Same. We don't. I work, like I said, I'm at Sportsman's Warehouse, and we don't have that specific stuff they had. I think everything they had on the shelf, you could catch a fish in Kentucky Lake with. They didn't have any fluff, so it was a pretty cool store.
Definitely all premium
definitely.
products.
I think all of us have that same problem, the tackle junkie bug. So yeah, those kind of places draw us like moth to a flame.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So Hank, after winning this one and spending a year fishing some kayak stuff, and now you own your own kayak, what are you thinking for next year? What's next year look like for you? You gonna dive headfirst into this thing big time, or are you gonna continue to walk in both worlds?
I mean, I'll probably walk in both worlds a little bit. Some of the guys that we stayed with, we started a YouTube channel called Blue Ridge Legacy, and so we're trying to fish all the lakes all around Western North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee, and just having a blast doing it. But I think I'll certainly get more into, be more consistent on the kayak trail. Now that I have my own boat and don't have to bum one. I mean, I think I fished out of 3 boats this year, all borrowed, and very grateful for everybody that was willing to loan me one. I was about to buy the one I was in. So thankfully I didn't have to do that. Sorry about that, Steve, but saved me some money. I got to learn how to outfit it. I mean, I kind of know, but it's totally a different game than what I'm used to. But I'm going to pick a bunch of people's brains and get what I need to get and probably get into it a lot more. I mean, it's so much fun. And like I said, I've not met a person at any of the events that hasn't been awesome. So it's something I really enjoy.
Yeah. So how about you, bottom two, that been in this game a little bit longer? Give Hank your first accessory. What should he put on this thing?
Good net.
No doubt. Any recommendations? What kind?
I don't know what kind I have, but it's relatively long with a big, with a big opening. There's any number of room for error. You can still
Yak
miss
attack
a
net.
fish with that big net.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's what I was
Yak
using
attack
the Yak
net.
Attack, so it was nice.
Yeah, I like horizontal rod storage. You've already got it on that boat, but man, utilize it.
Yeah.
You're used to it on the bass boat anyway.
Yeah.
Do you own a bass boat, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
So yeah, I just have a bass tracker 195, so it can get shallow. It can get shallow, similar to a kayak, but not quite as shallow.
Yeah, that's an awesome boat.
Yeah, it'll fly around the lake, and I have live scope on the front, and get to play around with that. But to be honest, I enjoyed not looking at a screen. It was almost refreshing just to go fishing.
I guarantee it.
Yeah, especially to pick a spot off on the map like that and just go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use the maps more than I use like the sonar part.
Yeah. I mean,
on Kentucky Lake at least.
I mean, is there? I'm sure there's a lot of guys that have whatever active target live scope on their kayak, but I didn't think it'd be useful in 5 feet of water. You're getting a lot of feedback and all that. I only use it when it's deep, so. I mean, I don't ever see myself putting that on there unless it's a must-have, I guess.
Yeah.
I like side scan.
Yeah, me too.
When I'm looking and pre-fishing to go down the bank and kind of look at structure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, I definitely use a lot of side scan. That's kind of one of my fun things that I like to do. Just kind of go through there and say, oh, there's that I didn't know was there.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun when you
side
find
scan,
like an old boat.
Yeah, side scan just finally clicked for me, like what it is. Like this year. Me and Tim were going down the lake and we have the same graph, and I was asking questions and he told me some answers, and then it all just kind of clicked, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've been looking at this wrong the whole time. So I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to the graph for sure. I need to learn some more about it.
What kind of graph you run on your boat?
I've got the Garmin and the 106 SV.
Yeah, that's nice.
I don't have live scope though. Yeah, it is awesome, man. When I got it, definitely.
That's what I have on my boat. I have all Garmin, so.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Me too.
I've got one of the little Garmin's, the 73 SV.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Works. Hey, 3rd place. Can't beat that. Well, you can.
You can buy 2.
You can be sitting in Hank's chair. But no, it was cool, man. I did get to catch up with Sam while he was out on the water and kind of stare over him and take some photos. So that was fun to get to see you in action. I fished a little bit there and didn't beat up on your fish too bad while you guys were out practicing before the tournament was over. But there was definitely some fish in your area to be had, Sam. And I think, somebody had even said this thing will be won out of the Kentucky Dam Marina. And here you are. So that's cool to see.
Yeah, one fish with one little bit bigger bite than I could have, maybe.
Dude, it's crazy how close it was.
Yeah. One person with one big fish could have changed this entire tournament at the end of the day. I mean, they could have come from 0 to hero real quick.
Yep. I heard about several lost fish that probably would have done it for a few different people, myself included. I lost 2 that I think would have done it. So
yeah, I lost one at like about 145, and I thought I lost the tournament. I was cranking and it hit right at the boat and didn't have any slack in the line. It just I couldn't keep it on there. It just shook off. And I said that was it. I just lost it. I just sat there for a minute and I just said I better keep fishing.
Yeah, I thought I lost every chance of doing well. Even I never look at the leaderboard, and since I didn't have a limit, till late, it was off by the time I did. So I had no idea what was leading. I had no idea. So that was kind of fun.
Now, Josh Shelton, our Coosa X winner, he's wanting to know about colors. Do you think color of your bait had any factor to do at all with what you were catching out there?
I think so. I think if I'd have been throwing a red one or something, I wouldn't have gotten bit as well. I kind of threw a real shad, color and everything.
I threw an underspin for a minute, like Sam did, and I didn't get anything on it. And like I said, as soon as I threw that chartreuse on, it was consistent. I mean, that's what they wanted where I was.
Yeah.
I didn't catch a lot on the Chapo, but I broke the fin off the Chapo a couple of times on the backswing, hit the back of the kayak and broke the fin off. So I went through 3 of them over the weekend.
Ooh.
And caught fish on all 3 of them, all three different colors. I don't think it mattered. It was just the sound and action of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grounded the bill off, I think 3 of them. Just I was fishing it so hard.
Yeah, I broke the bill off of 5 or 6 Fritz sides. It sucked. They're not cheap enough to be breaking.
No, they're not.
I was wondering if you're not even supposed to throw them on rocks. They were breaking so easy, man.
Really?
But they were catching fish, so I couldn't stop throwing. I had 1 left, and I stayed away from the real shallow rock stuff.
So Adam Petroni, one of our Jackson team members that was unfortunately out of town for the event, Kentucky stingy. You guys feel like Kentucky Lake was stingy to you?
No,
not at all.
The big fish were kind of being stingy, I guess.
They weren't playing.
The giants maybe, but the other fish weren't at all. They were being kind of stupid.
Jeremy Hayes, our Bland Bay Fish Angler of the Year, says he met Sam in your spot.
I saw Jeremy in that spot when I was practicing, and I said, "Oh my God, he's one, man." We were always chasing that dude around. He wins everything. So when I saw him there, I was like, "Well, I guess I had to ask him after the board check. I said, "Are you going to that spot, man?" He's like, "No, I think I'm going somewhere else." I go, "Thank you." I was gonna go somewhere else. He was going there for sure, just because it was a small spot, and he's so good that he was gonna, I wasn't gonna be able to do nothing. So I had a couple backup spots, but when he said he wasn't going there, I was thanking the good Lord.
For
yeah,
sure.
that spot where I met Jeremy, that was going to be a backup spot if I couldn't deal with the wind where I was.
Yeah, that was a good one, man.
Good to know. I'll file that away in the future.
File that one, dude.
Jeremy wasn't far away from you guys. I mean,
no, I know where he fished too, because I went and practiced that area as well, and we talked about it. So I almost went there.
Anybody in the top 10 was pretty much knocking on the door at the end of the day. I mean, as far as things went. But now let's talk about your divisions. What divisions you guys fished through the USA Bassin, because you guys pretty much come from some different areas. Hank, what division did you fish to qualify for the Classic?
We're in the Eastern Tennessee division. I fished 1 tournament in Virginia. I can't remember the name of the lake. It was absolute. So tell you how bad I am. I mean, that tournament, literally, I caught a fish like on the second cast, and I was so bad at taking the picture, put it on the board. It flopped off, hit my phone, knocked my phone in the lake. So there went my day. And I had my buddy Josh, who was fishing with me. He had to follow me around. If I caught one, he had to take the picture. It was a show. So fished one there, but mostly fished in, I guess, Cherokee, Douglas, those areas the most.
Those lakes are fun.
Says Rudy.
Yeah. I mean, they were tough. I mean, I fished a bunch of places I'd never been before, and being new on a kayak, it made it even more difficult. But I was lucky enough to qualify.
How long did it take you to get the picture taken part down?
I still don't have it down. I didn't have it. It's the first tournament, and so it was a little divine intervention. I didn't have one flop off the board because I learned that you better put that net to the side of it. And I'm still a rookie at it. I have the phone, case, so I won't lose it in the water. And it got wet, and that made the picture blurry on one, so I had to take it out. And you know, I got better at it. You know, certainly dipping the board in the lake, which a couple guys gave me that tip, help calm the fish, and leaving them in the net for a minute, letting them calm down seemed to help me a bunch just to get them on the board and get them flat. But I mean, for the people that don't know, and I'm sure everybody on here does, to have the mouth closed and have it flat and have your hand in the right spot and have your number there and do all that. I mean, I said, this is the worst thing ever when I first started. How am I ever going to do this? And,
there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. Plus, I was in the wind, so you're getting blown all over the place.
Yeah.
It just, I was really trying to make sure that I got the fish on the board and they didn't flop off. So I still have a huge learning curve. There's no doubt.
Are you using a metal board or one of the carbonites?
Carbonite.
Okay, yeah, the metal boards are really slick, so they're even worse.
Is that what you use?
No, I've had to use it before on one of the Hobies I fished, but man, it sucked. The carbonite's a little more grippy because of the raised lines and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm assuming that's why.
So Sam, moving on down to you, talk about your division where you fished at to qualify for this.
I believe they call it Rocky Top League. Hank, you know, it's Cherokee, Douglas, and then French Broad, Holston. We had a river tournament, and I think it's called the Rocky Top League. I think Rocky Top Division or something. Yeah. But yeah, that's where I fished to qualify.
Cool. How about you, Mr. Grubbs?
It was the Kayak Some More Tri-Lakes Division. I got finished third in Angler of the Year behind Jeremy Hayes, who won it, and Rowdy Farinelli was second. And then I fished a couple of Patoka Lake tournaments too, dipped in.
Yeah, I think that's one of the cool things. I mean, yeah, you've got your division, but as far as collecting points, you can kind of bounce around like you and Hank did and fish a couple random divisions here and there and kind of float and see some different places. So it's not, you know, so monotonous fishing the same spots every single time that you go out. And I think that's one of the cool things about USA Bassin. You can just jump in and go fight anywhere.
Yeah. That's the fun parts, traveling around for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Rudy's got another question. How do you guys keep your phones dry?
I mean, I got one of those cheap Walmart plastic cases that I threw it in, and then I would take it out to take the picture, which my wife would shoot me if I lost another phone in the lake. I just kept it under the seat, you know, and you know, just dried it period. I had a little towel on the kayak where I dry it off or wipe it on my pants and, you know, just keep that camera dry.
Yeah. Best thing I use is one of those, I think Rogue Gear makes it, but it's, you know, one of the phone tethers.
Yeah.
And I've got it attached to my life jacket, and it's long enough I can put the phone in my pocket with the tether on there, and it's not covering the camera or anything. It's the best.
I agree. I have one of those as well, but my life jacket has a pocket right here. I just keep it unzipped and my phone in the pocket.
Yeah, those are real nice. Yeah.
Handy.
Miss Jean always says carry a couple bar towels with you. Well, that's for the after party, Jean. That's for the celebration after these big tournaments. We got the damn brew house, pint, whatever, growler back there from the trip. That was a good time. It was a good celebration after everything was over.
That place was awesome. I'm glad I went.
It was. So looking at 2024, what are you guys thinking? This is another event that you're looking at getting back in this championship and trying to go for broke and do it again?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, I think we're gonna have another one of the divisions. They're supposed to be dropping a schedule pretty soon. I don't think I've seen it yet, but I'm pretty excited for that. I saw the Monroe schedule. I'd like to hit a couple of those. And then, you know, I didn't really see much in Tennessee or wasn't paying much attention. So I need to probably open my eyes to those schedules.
Yeah, the schedules haven't come out yet here for Tennessee.
Yeah, waiting on Tennessee. We got some things to line out over there, but we're gonna work on that one. So the
Yeah.
Rocky Top division, hopefully we'll see them back at it this year.
Yeah,
Seemed like a pretty good group of dudes.
There's no shortage of kayak tournaments in Tennessee, I don't think.
That's true.
There's a lot. There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them anywhere anymore. I think, everybody's looking for something different, and hopefully you guys can walk away from this saying USA Bassin offered you something. USA Bassin Jackson Kayak offered you something that was a little bit different,
Yeah.
to go out, qualify locally, and then go and fish a big event somewhere that maybe you hadn't been yet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the first time I'd ever thrown a hook into Kentucky Lake was this weekend. So it's neat to go somewhere new.
Cool. And you really didn't have to chase too far from home just to qualify. I think, that's one of the big things that we always looked at for this trail, and kind of why we partnered with USA Bassin at Jackson, was just because it is kind of for that local guy can qualify. He can go to work. He can work 5 days a week. He don't have to worry about burning up his vacation days. He can get out there on the water, bass it up with his buddies, and then turn around and fish something nationally at the end of the year that he's worked hard for.
Yep. Definitely.
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
the perfect schedule. I mean, for me, it couldn't have worked out any better.
Well, I'm grateful for you guys and what you guys did out on the water. Let's talk about, before we sign off here a little bit, let's talk about Kentucky Lake, just the area around the outside of Kentucky Lake. Places you encountered, places you went. I mean, it seemed like the local hospitality was just off the charts everywhere where we went. Was you guys getting the same vibes at the local places you guys stopped at?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We ate a couple of different places. I mean, since there was several of us staying in the same house, we all, went and ate same places, and everybody seemed to have a really great time. I mean, there's a lot of interesting looking places that would be nice to come back to. Places to stay, and I mean, if you, I kind of like antique shopping some.
Yeah.
Too much information for a fishing show, I know, but there's a lot of antique shops I was looking at around there that'd be fun to come back to.
If I'm taking my wife, you can bet that's where she's going.
And we went to Fast Eddie's. That place was pretty cool. I mean, they had a lot of tackle, had some good food. I think we got pizza there a few nights and some wings.
Catfish.
I like, and some fish. Yeah, you guys got the fish. That's right. What I like is there's a lot of little marinas that that you can stop in. They got some tackle, and everyone was very welcoming. We don't have a lot of that in the reservoirs in North Carolina and Eastern Tennessee. There's usually one big one, and that's about it. And so there's a lot of little mom and pop places that it's really cool. I love that whole area around that lake.
Yeah, my campground was awesome. It had an awesome view. I was right on the water. It was right by my fishing spot, so that was awesome. Everywhere I stopped was good. Those 2 tackle shops I went to, the couple restaurants I went to, and then on top of that, like, I had a couple boats that knew about us down there and was asking, just about how we measured our fish and different, just questions about the kayak game. While I was fishing on the first day, I had a boat come right up to me. I was kind of nervous, and he stayed back. He was probably he's probably in his 70s, and he knew about us. He was just asking me how I was doing and about the tournament and different things. As soon as we were done, he just took off. I was like, holy crap, that was awesome. It's like everybody I interacted with, all the boats were cool, man. Everybody, whether they were crappie fishermen or bass fishermen, everybody was super cool, and that's kind of weird too. It doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Well, I think, probably a testament to the time frame that we was there too. You pretty much got your diehard fishermen out there once you hit October. Most of the guys that are serious tournament fishermen probably have taken off to the woods, doing something a little bit different. But for the most part, your dedicated anglers are the ones that are left out there.
Yeah.
So what's as we close this thing out, one more question for you guys. What's next? Where are you going from here?
Go fishing, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I'm off work tomorrow, so I'm going fishing somewhere. But Dale Hollow is really next. I might do that Hoosier Kayak Bassin deal, the Turkey Bowl, but I'm really got the sights set on Dale Hollow in December.
Yep.
And then I just
I'll
saw
be there.
Cherokee Lake in January. I saw too, so got the wheels turning on that one.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go up and hit Watauga Lake, maybe Saturday. We'll see. And then there's a couple lakes down by Hickory, Road Hiss and Lake Hickory that I'm probably going to head to. And I got to outfit this kayak. I got to figure out what I want on it. And that's probably what I'm going to do is pick a lot of people's brains and, go visit some. We got a couple local places here I can go down and visit. And we have some things in the store here, too, that I can use for it. But I'm going to try to outfit that thing and get it ready to go.
Yeah.
Excited to see that.
Head up north, find a guy named Jameson Redding. He's probably got stuff in his barn he could just throw in your boat.
All
right. But all right, guys, let's kind of wrap this thing up. So we'll start with Marcus at the bottom and work our way from Sam to Hank. So thank the people that you want to thank as far as sponsorships and different things, and tell folks where they can follow you on social media if they want to stop by and hang out your page and see what you're about.
Yep, I'm at Dad's Bassin on Instagram, and then just Marcus Grubbs on Facebook. I definitely got to thank my parents for the year. I wouldn't have been able to do any of this traveling if they weren't watching my boy. Fridays and Saturdays, every other weekend almost. It was crazy how much they came through for me. And then, Chad, of course, got to thank you for being my bro for so many years, and then also for helping put this deal on and putting all your effort into it. Jackson and USA Bassin for doing their thing, and Kim and Tony at Kayaks and More, man. They've done so much for me. I don't even think they realize how much they've done, how much I appreciate them. So it's awesome. I love representing that shop, and the mom and pop shops, dude. That's where it's at. I love being a part of that team.
All right. Well, I appreciate Jackson for putting on the trail and getting all the sponsors lined up for this USA Bassin deal. Enjoyed fishing with it this year. Look forward to it for the next. Don't really have any sponsors, but occasionally I'll put some stuff out on my Instagram page, which is at SamBeck865 on Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot. First, my wife for letting me do it as much as we do, and obviously Josh Helton. He's the guy who won the kayak in the raffle, so we came home with 2. We were joking at the beginning, like we might come home with 2, and we actually did. So that's pretty crazy. Thankfully, Stephen Kidd had a big enough trailer where they could get them all home. And KKOA and MT66 baits that he's doing. He's the guy. Him and Josh got me into it. Chris Phelan for letting me come up to his house and stay and take me to some tournaments. Awesome dude and great fisherman. And then you can find me, I think it's just Hank Newson on Instagram. And then Josh and I and another friend, Miles, we got a Instagram page, Blue Ridge Legacy, and then our YouTube page, Blue Ridge Legacy, where we're just trying to put out local fishing videos in the lakes, and again, in Eastern Tennessee and, Western North Carolina.
Right on. And without further ado, let's shout out to a few of the folks that definitely helped with this big event, and to thank them here online. First of all, Marshall County, Kentucky, for their help in hosting us in their area. They was absolutely phenomenal. Kentucky Lake Outdoors, they were a huge help getting us all inside, so we had a place to be, well lit, and not everybody was standing around out in the dark at 7:00 at night as we were doing the award ceremony in the cold and the rain. So huge shout out to Kentucky Lake Outdoors. Zepro Lithium, they provided a bunch of koozies and tow flags. Wild River beef jerky, everybody walked out of there with beef jerky. Fish sticks rods, we had some Orion coolers as well. Let's see, what else was there? Oh, Guggen Baits was another one that had gifts for everybody that's registered. Hoorag, been partnered with Hoorag for a really long time, and they're always phenomenal people. And I know I'm forgetting somebody. Oh, Land Big Fish. Land Big Fish provided a very large gift certificate for our Angler of the Year, along with cash prize. And then Bayo sunglasses kicked in a couple pairs of cool sunglasses for a couple of our guys as well. I think that's it. I might be missing somebody, but if I miss somebody, I completely apologize. Obviously, Jackson Kayak, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing without you guys, the three of you, and the rest of the guys that came to this event. Our big shout out to our directors that made this thing possible, and Jason Cassidy for heading this thing up, because this whole thing, while I go and play with watercolors and take pictures and post crap on the internet, Jason Cassidy's the guy behind the scenes that's putting in the time and the effort and making the show go around. And then Rudy Yarworth, he was a huge asset for us for judging those fish on that day. So, yeah, thanks to all those guys. And we look forward to seeing all three of you back out on the water next year at the Jackson Kayak Classic. And gosh, man, we hope you guys had fun. We hope you guys have a stellar winter, and go smallmouth bassing at Del Hollow. Hope to see you there.
No doubt.
So,
definitely see you
night,
there.
everybody. We're signing off.